And everybody who has not overcome evil is playing a role in life. Everybody is playing a role. The whole world is a stage. As William Shakespeare wrote, all the world is a stage. Lord knows that that's true. The whole world is a stage, and everyone is playing a part. The stage is set, and the curtain goes up. And the scene is a broken heart. The whole world is a stage, and everyone plays a part. The stage is set, the curtain goes up. The scene is a broken heart. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their essence and their interests. And one man in his time plays many parts. Lord knows that that's true. What the? And some of you, a whole lot of you, worship celebrities. You worship celebrities. You can't appreciate the talent that they have. You have to worship them. And they make you worship them. They present themselves with bright lights and all those things so that you can worship them, because they are possessed too with evil, and they get a false thrill of you worshiping them. And talk about pushing boundaries. The New York Post, that first story from page 6, the New York Post, in a 2019 video, Will Smith gave a warning to his wife, Jada, with some viewers claiming the star looks uncomfortable and anxious as he speaks with his wife. Watch this from Instagram.
You know, Esther Farrell is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh, my goodness.
If you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just...
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
A disobedient wife. He should dump her right then and there, and they're going through hell in their own lives. And the same hell you are in. Filming him and he doesn't want it. Don't do it. Oh my God. She's doing it anyway. Why would you marry a woman that will not obey you? Think about that. You're in your hell. According to 7 News, Jada and R&B singer August Alsina became romantic 6 years ago, despite their 21-year age gap and Jada marital status. Watch this from hip hop.
You, during that time, launched into an interaction with August. What do you feel like you were looking for?
I just wanted to feel good.
See?
It had been so long since I felt good.
Right.
And it was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
Yeah, right.
I think that has a lot to do with my codependency, which is another thing that I had to learn to break in this cycle. Just that idea of needing to fix and being drawn to people that need help, whether it's your health or whether it's your addictions. There's something about that childhood trauma that feels as though it can be fixed through fixing people.
Amazing. And he said, They have no idea what they're talking about. She can't fix nobody. She just want to feel good. Doesn't it feel good to feel like you're fixing someone? and you can't even fix yourself? Amazing, huh? It's the same problem you have, everyone has, who are possessed. You're trying to feel good. And even a bad feeling to you is feeling something, so you feel good with a bad feeling. Some of you might remember when this boy Will Smith punched Chris Rock. This is from page 6. Will stood up for his wife at the Oscars in March 2020 when Chris Rock poked fun at Jada, bald head, amidst her alopecia struggle. Watch this from E.T.
Uh-oh, Richard! Oh, wow! Wow!
The feed goes silent, and so does the audience after Will Smith takes a swing at Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars. It all went down after Chris made a crack about Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and her shaved head. While Will appears to laugh at first, things immediately turn sour as he takes to the stage, slapping Chris straight across the face. Will shouting at the top of his lungs, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." Will got a chance to address the incident when he won the Best Actor honor, his first ever Academy Award.
You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. But love will make you do crazy things.
That ain't love, buddy. I could think of many things to call that, and it's not love. Love would not have done that. Hate does that. Will Smith, Jada Smith, they all have the same problem that every human being on earth has. They may have a little bit more money, maybe. They may live a little bit higher on the hill, maybe. But they have the same spiritual issue. They're possessed. And that's why they're acting out in that way. No love. Page 6's reporter Smith said the revelation kind of woke him up, adding that the actress was more resilient, clever, and compassionate than he had understood. Yeah, right. This is from today. Today, Jada Smith, she and Will Smith have been separated and have lived completely separate lives since 2016. Watch this from today.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
Right.
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
This interview was taped a year after Will and Jada separated.
So how long have you guys been together?
23 years.
How do you keep it hot?
How do I keep it hot? Maybe I don't know.
Over the next several years, Jada and Will kept up the appearance of a committed married couple. Neither let the public know they had already split.
Still trying to figure out between the two of us
Yeah.
how to be in partnership in regards to how do we present that to people. By the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be.
Amazing. And you worship them. She got some hair there. I thought she was alopecia. What the? I guess alopecia hair come and go. So it's Halloween coming up sometime soon, I think. Well, I know, but I don't know what date. In 2 weeks, I'm told. And the background has been done by the Anchor Baby. Happy Halloween. It's amazing. I'm scared. The bat's in the belfry. Bay, very nice. Happy Halloween. The world gone crazy, and I totally understand it. I understand now why and how and why and how. And this is why I want to encourage you, above all things, get an understanding. And the understanding starts within you, not outside of you. It's not on the outside. It's on the inside. It's the kingdom of heaven. The truth is inside of you. Every human being that wants it. Really. What you see happening in the world, the violence, the hatred, the anger, which is hatred, the jealousy, the envy, the strife, the destruction, the attacks, both in wars and outside of wars amongst unto one another, is intellectual. People who operate from the intellect are evil. Pure evil. And the solution and the answer to real life is not in the intellect. And the more knowledge you get and hold on to, the worse you become. Whether it is biblical knowledge or secular knowledge. The knowledge of good and evil is evil. And I want to give you a perfect example of evil intellectual people with degrees. You people are going out there, you're going to the university and you're getting all these degrees. And the only thing it's doing two things: putting you in debt and causing you to become evil. And you become puffed up with knowledge. Whether it's to the so-called Bible school, preacher Bible school, or Sunday school class, or to a secular college, Harvard, it doesn't matter which one. You're going in debt, and your heart is made to be wicked. In my country today, I've said over and over again, and I still stand by it, that we should not have foreigners running our government. We should not have foreigners running our court system. We should not have foreigners teaching in our schools, because the people who come here from foreign countries, they are coming with the same asshole attitude and knowledge that destroyed their country. You let all these people come in, like Ilhan Omar and others, and there are more. You let them come in, and they destroy you. I want to give you a perfect example of an evil, nasty, bitter female that should not be in our court. She is a foreigner, first of all, and she's a so-called judge in our court system. This is from CNN and Red State. A federal judge on Monday issued a gag order on Donald Trump, limiting what he can say about special counsel Jack Smith's federal prosecution. The order prohibits Trump from making public statements targeting certain individuals involved in the trial. Critics argue that the gag order is an effort to stifle Trump's speech while he is running for a second term as president. Watch this from CNN.
If there was a violation, then in the first instance, usually what happens is you would face a fine, which is a monetary damage. If there is another violation, then you can talk about more serious sanctions. These are very rare, but you can be thrown in jail for contempt of court, or in this case, in federal prison. In this case, when you have a defendant who is making so many aggressive statements about the case, I think it makes all the sense in the world that the prosecution would bring this motion.
Crooked and deranged prosecutor Jack Smith, who has a terrible record of failure, is asking a highly partisan Obama-appointed judge, Tanya Chutkan, who should recuse herself based on the horrible things she has said to silence me. He went on to say these political hacks and thugs are destroying our country. Let's see what happens Monday, meaning what just happened. Will America survive or not? That's just one example of the kind of things that the judge is saying you have a First Amendment right,
Right.
but it's not unlimited.
But it's not unlimited.
How is it not unlimited? That's a lie. And this judge, Tanya Chuckins, is black. So think about that. You got a black female judge from a foreign country in your courts in America. What do you think going to happen? And she's going after a white man. Probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, white man in the country at the time, this time. This is so wrong that there's nothing right about it. This Tanya Chuckins is an evil, bitter, nasty female who should not be in our country. How are you going to tell the president that he doesn't have the freedom of speech? Oh, because you can get away with it. That's why you're going to do it. This is from WFTV. Tanya Chuckins was born in Kingston, Jamaica. Think about that. Watch this clip right now about this woman. It has no sound, but that's her. Look at that evil, nasty Satan daughter sitting on our courts making this decision about Donald Trump. CNN is reporting that Judge Chuckins said he does not have the right, referring to Trump. He does not have the right to say and do exactly what he pleases, says the woman, the female from Jamaica. The man who's running for president and all accounts is beating out Joe Biden and Joe Biden's mama. And they're going to shut him down, or try, because he'll get around it, but they're going to try to shut him down during a campaign. And Lord, poor Biden. Don't blame Joe Biden. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Joe Biden is just there. Joe Biden need a nap. Joe Biden need a hug and a nap. And Joe Biden appears to be used. Somebody is controlling, it appears, controlling Joe Biden like 90 going north. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Joe Biden was on 60 Minutes this past Friday night. Sunday night. This past Sunday night. And he was led to water. They led him to water and they drank the water for him and pretended that he was drinking the water, that he found his way to the water stream and he was drinking it, but he wasn't. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Biden appeared on 60 Minutes to discuss a number of topics. Donald Trump called out the softball questions and what each one of those questions contained. Watch this from Truth Social.
The show 60 Minutes should be ashamed of themselves. They just interviewed crooked Joe Biden and led him along like a lost child. Each question contained the answer.
It sure did. It sure did. I want to let you see if Trump was right or not for yourself. Watch this from 60 Minutes.
Rarely does a president confront so much peril. The catastrophe in Israel, the war in Ukraine. It had been a rough week, and we could see it on him. Mr. Biden will be 81 next month, and he has said that when he's tired, his lifelong stutter can creep back in. Is getting the American hostages back safely among your highest priorities now?
Of course it is.
Because of what we're seeing in the Middle East, is the threat of terrorism in the United States increased?
Yes.
There are about 2 million people in Gaza. Are you asking Israel to establish a humanitarian corridor in that area or get humanitarian supplies?
Yes, our team is talking with them about that.
You would like to see a humanitarian corridor that allows some of the 2 million Gazans out of the area?
Yes.
You would like to see humanitarian supplies brought into Gaza?
Yes.
Do you believe that Hamas must be eliminated entirely?
Yes, I do.
And I wonder, what is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran.
Don't. Don't.
Don't come across the border. Don't escalate this war.
That's right.
Wow. Say don't, Joe. Say don't 3 times. Say yes. Say yes, say yes, say yes. And Joe Biden not looking tired because he's been busy dealing with issues. Joe Biden is old, and he reminds me of my father, when my father developed Alzheimer's. I don't know if that's what he has or not, but he sure remind me of it. My father forgot things. I keep waiting for the world to change. Keep on waiting. They're waiting for Armageddon. Look like Armageddon is already happening. Have you looked around lately? There's no conversation, no real question at all. Just yes, no. In my mind, and I'm probably wrong, but I can imagine somebody standing over there behind the guy doing the talk and showing Joe Biden these big cars with the letter no, yes, and he just looking at no. This is from CNBC. This woman is a liar, and I wonder if in her DNA. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the country can absolutely afford to financially support both Israel and Ukraine in their respective war efforts. Watch this from Sky News.
Can America, can the West afford another war at this time?
I think the answer is absolutely. America can certainly afford to stand with Israel and to support Israel's military needs, and we also can and must support Ukraine in its struggle against Russia. And look, the American economy is doing extremely well. Inflation has been high, and it's been a concern to households. America, the Biden administration, has passed legislation that is strengthening our economy. We do need to come up with funds both for Israel and for Ukraine. This is a priority.
That's a priority, she said. America is not the priority. Israel and Ukraine is a priority. Home is not the priority. Away from home is the priority. She's evil. That's for the thrill of it. She feels good thinking that, I'm putting Israel and Ukraine before home. I wonder what she's getting from it other than the thrill of it. You still want women to be in charge of your country? I wouldn't let Janet Yellen, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, I wouldn't let her run my Kool-Aid stand. That's more to talk about my country. Watch this from Sky News.
My question, as it relates to that, is whether you do think you've contributed to breaking the glass ceiling in the US, and whether the US might be getting closer to being ready to elect a female president next.
Well, I think women have made tremendous advances, and I'm very heartened by that. Once upon a time, I think when I started in economics and policy jobs, it was pretty rare to see women sitting at the table, and that is changing. But there still are barriers, and it's important for us to try to break those down so that more women have opportunities.
I know you're not backing a woman to be president in the next election, because I know you'll be backing President Biden loud and clear. Does he still have the energy for another 5 years in the job? Absolutely.
He's very involved, very vibrant, is doing an excellent job.
Wow. Yeah, she broke the ceiling all right, the ceiling to the gates of hell. She broke out of hell and bringing hell on earth. You could tell when a person's lying, they always bowing their head, bucking their eyes. amazing. I want to give you some quick examples of what happens as a result. And these are just some of the things. There's so many others, right? And right now, because of the media, for the most part, is focusing on the war, you're starting to hear less and less about what's happening in the country. The country's still a mess, but they're sending Joe Biden over to Israel and other places so you forget what's happening in your country. Election time is coming up. All kinds of tricks will be played, but they want you to forget the violence and the crimes and the carjacking and the snatch and grab and knocking out white people and all. They want you to forget about that for a minute. And now their whole focus is on, for the most part, exception to the rule, is on the war, and little or nothing is happening, is being reported about my country. It's still bad in the country. Gas prices, the economy. They're saying, don't punish them. They'll do better. They just hit you in the head with a hammer. They were playing. Don't punish them. They'll do better. And this is coming from the women especially. Don't hurt him. He'll do better next time. Yahoo is reporting Seattle police have released a video of a man they suspect randomly attacked two people with a hammer. Watch this from Fox.
Police have released new video of the suspect in a brutal attack outside a light rail station in South Seattle last week. Two people were beaten with a hammer in the head.
And you can see a man dressed in a dark blue jacket, black sandals, and a black dress holding up a hammer in his right hand as he walks up and down the station. Surveillance cameras capture him walking into one of those trains. He appears to be talking while at the same time waving the hammer around, apparently pointing it towards commuters. Seattle police say minutes later they were called out just across the street where the man hit a woman in her 60s and another man in the head with a hammer. Very brutal and violent attack. Well, according to writers, the man threatened many of them before getting off and unleashing on them.
It does impact how I look at my neighborhood. I might keep an eye out a little bit more.
Amazing. You black. That reminded me, yesterday I was driving down the road. I saw a black guy walking down the road in a long black silk skirt or dress with a white blouse on, and then he had those black braids things, and he had a mustache. I'm like, what? No. He had a black shoulder bag on his hand. He was just walking down waving, just a proud. I'm like, what the? But this is still happening in my country, folks. And not once did the reporter say he was black, right? If he had been white, what do you think they would have said? It would have been a different story. He hit, according to a report, attacked these people with a hammer, dressed in drag. His mama spirit. That's his mama spirit. That's the mama spirit. One example of it. And mama like, he didn't mean it. Don't hurt him. Don't put him in jail. Don't tell your daddy. Daddy, don't yell at him. Leave him alone. The Blaze is reporting a 63-year-old woman who survived the beating said that the attacker is a lost soul and that she felt sorry for the state the man was in. So he hit her in the head. She survived, and she feels sorry for the man. See how emotions will get you in hell? You have no right to feel sorry for anyone. Don't punish them too much. Don't make them feel the punishment. Don't hurt their feelings, and the kids grow up to be thugs. 'Cause mama's in the way. Dad will tell the kids, okay, it's time to go to bed, kids. And the kids like, all right, I'll go in a minute. Okay. Didn't y'all hear y'all daddy say go to bed? And the kids get up and go to bed. Mama just got her glory. She just took the authority away from the father. ABC is reporting. A 19-year-old has been charged with the death of an Oakland Baker, Jan Angel. In February, Angel friend said Angel would not want her alleged killer to go to prison. She's speaking on behalf of Angel. Angel did, not speaking for herself. Maybe it's true or not. But these women, they are so emotional, they let the criminals go. Watch this from KTVU and ABC.
Police have arrested 19-year-old Ishmael Birch of San Francisco, and he's now charged with murder and robbery for the death of Jen Angel, the owner of Angel Cakes Bakery in Oakland. Police say she died after being knocked down and dragged by the suspect's car during a purse snatching back in February.
Roberts was Angel's friend. She's one of several people calling on local authorities to pursue an alternative to traditional prosecution.
I know Jen believed that we need to address harm and create accountability that is really rooted in looking at the root causes of why harm happens.
Burr says Angel strongly disagreed with the current criminal justice system and would not want her alleged killer to go to prison.
Like locking somebody in a cage, is that really going to bring Jen back?
Amazing. See why you don't want women in charge? It's not in their nature to lead. Jan did. Oh, but be nice to the black guy. Don't make the black children angry. And they know that if this criminal is not punished for killing Jen, he's going to do it again. My mama like, no, how's that going to help? It will help the criminal. It may not help Jen, but it definitely help the criminal if you love them. Men, it's time to return to the Father. And the Father will guide you in the light, and if you did this, you can have peace on earth. Because the women, all women are seeking the Father. But they can't find it because the men are weak. CBS, the New York NYPD says Brian Dolan, or Dowling, D-O-W, Dowling, an 18-year-old Brooklyn man, and watch how they don't ever say black man. A 18-year-old Brooklyn man has been charged with the murder in the deadly stabbing of Ryan Carson. Watch this from CBS.
Surveillance footage shows the assailant approach Carson and his girlfriend at a bus stop here on Lafayette Avenue and Malcolm X Boulevard before stabbing Carson in the chest. Carson later died from the attack. As you mentioned, police now have a suspect in custody who is currently being questioned at the 81st precinct. This is footage of the man police say they were looking for. He has not yet been identified. But we are blurring his face at the moment while charges are pending.
Amazing, huh? So they blurred out the black man's face. They didn't even say black. But the white guy, they show his whole face in all the media. That white guy was Daniel Penny. Some of you might remember him. He was trying to help on the train, too. Some guy acting weird, according to the story. Daniel Penny said, hey, danger ahead. He tried to help. But you were white. And they were all over it. Oh, but they blurred out the black guy's face. And it's being reported, according to the Daily Mail and the Post Millennial. Friends of Ryan Carson says he feels sorry for the teenage criminal. He feels sorry for the teenage criminal who stabbed him to death. He would see that this was a person who was suffering from a lack of resources. So Ryan, even though you dead, if he were here, he was like, I feel sorry for him. They were suffering from a lack of resources. He had enough knives to kill you. This is what happened to the blacks in America. The white people years ago, when the blacks first started whining and begging and blaming, white people like, oh, I feel sorry for the blacks. I understand slavery. I feel sorry for the blacks. And now the blacks are trying to run the whites out of their own country. Ryan would feel sorry for him. Ryan dead, but he still would feel sorry for him. He had the lack of resources. That's why the black guy was suffering. That's what white people said about blacks. Years ago, the blacks started knocking them out, and they called it knockout gang. With Ryan Carson, here's a tweet from Ryan Carson after the death of Rush Limbaugh in 2021. This is from X, a photo.
LMAO, hell yeah.
So he was laughing at the death of Rush Limbaugh.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that amazing? And then he stabbed. I told you, what you do to others, you're doing it to yourself. You just don't know it. A mama's love is not special. A mama's love is death. The father's love is life. It's life. This is from the Revolver. 7 months ago, a teacher in Florida was attacked by a 6'6", 270-pound student. He was black, too. It took a team of 4 adults to pry this madman off the poor teacher. Watch this from NBC.
Quite frankly, it was shocking.
Investigators say when a teacher's aide at Matanzas High School took a 17-year-old ESE student's video game away, he chased after her into the hallway and, according to the report, pushed the victim so hard it took her off her feet in the air 5 to 6 feet, knocking her unconscious. The 17-year-old, seen here with campus resource deputies, allegedly continued his assault as the teacher's aide lay helpless on the ground. Investigators say surveillance shows the student kicking her, then getting on top of her and punched her in the body and back of the head approximately 15 times. As first responders tended to the victim, the 17-year-old detained and being walked away, according to the report, he started to spit towards the victim and said when he comes back, he's going to kill her.
Wow, and he was black. See how they leave out the color of the person when it's black? If it was a white man, they would call it a white supremacy. A white supremacist did this. The Revolver is reporting that according to the student, his attack was sparked by a teacher telling him to stop gaming on his Nintendo. The teacher said that never happened. But even if the teacher told the idiot to stop doing it in school, you stop doing it. This is still happening in my country. Don't take your attention away from what's happening here and just put it on some war. They don't want you to remember this. It's time to vote soon. They may be already sending out mail-in votes, which is a bad idea, by the way. But over a game. He told you, according to the report, when I get out, I'm going to kill you. Do you think a white guy could have said that to a black teacher and not be called white supremacist, a racist attack, and all that mess? The Revolver is reporting that the student was charged as an adult and is now starting a 30-year prison sentence. Nice. And the teacher is perfectly fine with that and not willing to help get this sentence reduced. God bless this teacher. And last but not least, it's still bad in Chicago. It could forever be bad in Chicago. It's controlled by blacks, and probably the majority of people there are black. I'm not sure. The Blaze is reporting, and I want you to watch this, how the police and nobody is stopping this. A Chicago street takeover took a turn over the weekend when individuals were caught on video appearing to trap a white Tesla. Watch this from X. Hey, black. Wow. That wasn't in South Africa. That was in the United States of Chicago. You still want to teach anger? You still want to encourage anger? Jesus was angry. You still want to encourage that? You still believe Jesus had anger? That was black excellence at work. Black excellence. You still want the blacks running your country? Idiots are fighting over God. Every religion think that their God is the best one. And if you don't agree with me, I'm going to war with you, they say. Oh, you're going to believe my God is the best? Or you're hell and damnation. I'm going after you. They say. The human nature, the mind of a human being is pure evil. Be not deceived. And it's rare to find men who speak up in the right way. They'll speak up, but like a woman, with revenge. But in the good old days, men spoke up in the right way, and the country and the world was amazing. They knew how to be honest but not angry. And they weren't faking it. It was in the heart. It was real. And you can tell it was real. You know when it's fake and you know when it's real. I remember the good old days when it was rare to find men, at least where I grew up, who were angry. And when you run into young men or older men who are angry, it was like, it stood out. Everybody wondered, what the? But for women to be angry, it was a norm. And you didn't run into a lot of women that were angry in the good old days. Your problems are your own. And you love inflicting your problems on someone else. It gives you a thrill. It gives you a sense of excitement. Especially if you think you're going to get responses from other people about it. It's evil. Be honest, but not angry. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone. Do you know anyone like that? Everybody, except for those who truly overcome the fallen state, they seek revenge and they bear grudges and they lie about it. They're like, no, I'm not. And then why are you going after the person? Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone. Look at all these so-called rallies in our country right now between the kids and the university and the adults. They're seeking revenge and they bear grudges. And in reality, for no reason, because they don't understand what they're doing. They believe their life up from others. They're leaders who are seeking revenge and bear grudges. But love your neighbor as yourself. I give to you a new commandment, a new world, the New Testament. Do not seek revenge or bear grudge against anyone, but love your neighbor as yourself. Do you love your neighbor as yourself? No. You don't. Look how you're fighting one another over this war with Israel and Palestine, Hamas or whomever. I don't know the difference, but look how you're seeking revenge. And just because somebody disagrees with you, you go after them. And yet you say you love your neighbor. You're lying. Your actions say you don't. Your mouth says one thing, but your actions say you don't. It says another thing. It's not what you say, it's what you do. Backstabbing. Beware of the pat on the back. It just might hold you back. Jealousy, envy. They say, I love you. And while they're saying they're loving you, they're stabbing you. But there's one brave man out there I've noticed in life. That's what I want to tell you, too. There's always one and maybe two, and you're running to them, and you would know who they are. They are sons and daughters of the Father. You would just know. They could tell even before the devil bit them that it was the devil. When men were strong like that. And they would stop the devil in his track. Man. And I've noticed that, like, throughout the world, God is always allowing a few men to stand up. Because he's always trying to draw you back to him without forcing you. And so there are men and women who are seeking, and they're scattered out amongst us. And they are hated. They are hated not because of darkness, but because of the light. And the darkness hate the light. I want to give you another quick example of a old school guy out of Canada. This is from Red State. Pierre Polievre, whatever, is a longtime member of the Canadian Parliament, the opposition leader, and also the leader of Canada's Conservative Party. He's been described by some media outlets as the man who could beat Justin Trudeau. Watch this from X.
In terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Nice. Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap
Nice.
very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left
But
or right.
anyways, a lot
I
of
don't
people
really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians,
The
but
apple look good.
Like who?
It sound good.
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
you must know somebody.
Okay. Wow. I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question
is.
Okay,
then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Wow. Let your yes be yes. According to Matthew, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Whatever is more than these words, whatever is more than these is from the evil one. The reporter, I guess the reporter, talking to the Canadian Parliament there, guy, all these words that had no meaning. One more based, old school. And they're scattered 1 and 2 throughout the world. And if you notice, that reporter wasn't even looking at the man eating the apple. That apple, he looked like right off the apple tree. What the? I haven't had an apple right off the apple tree that I can remember since I left Alabama. I remember the good old days in Alabama. We had apple trees, blackberries. We would go out and pick blackberries, pears, peaches, and all kinds of things. That apple was natural. They didn't have no climate change in that apple. But anyway, have a wait-and-see attitude. Let me show you another man from the old school. They're scattered throughout the world, and on your journey, if you're truly on one, You're going to run into them. And the people around you are going to be jealous. Oh, you let that Jew help you. Or you let that Christian help you. Or you let that white person help you. Oh, you this, you that. Must be for the money. Because they can't see. Their mind is clogged with hatred. And they call it love. I want to give you another old school guy. Based, as the millennial would say. Based. This is from the Revolver. Fox News. Brian Kilmeade tried to goad Trump into criticizing Matt Gaetz' ousting of Kevin McCarthy. However, the move backfired. Watch this from X.
Did Matt Gaetz hurt the party by leading a march to oust Kevin McCarthy?
Well, he was upset that Kevin was doing a lot of the Obama work. He was working on the budget and getting something approved that, we could have gotten a lot for. And the debt ceiling, everybody was hurt with that. At the same time, Kevin's a great guy. He's a wonderful guy, but people were hurt by that. It depends. I mean, it depends on how good the new speaker, whoever that may be, how good he does. I mean, maybe we'll end up with one of the great speakers of all time, in which case Matt Gaetz did a tremendous favor. But certainly some people aren't so happy with him, and other people, I guess, are with him 100%. Matt's a good guy. He means well with this. And let's see how – you can't really say what's going to happen until you find out who's picked and how good a job that person does.
Amazing. If ever we needed a great white hope, Donald Trump, we need him now. Come by here, Lord. Come by here, Lord, now. The one thing I want you to know for sure, and without a doubt, for sure, some things you're just not really sure of, and you think might be true, but you're just not sure of, right? And some things you are sure of, but this is one thing I'm absolutely sure of, and without a doubt. It's amazing to be sure of something and have no doubt that there is a devil, there is evil, that there is evil. And evil is a spirit. And evil works in all human beings. And it works in the mind and emotions. It talks to you. It makes decisions for you. It convinces you that a lie is the truth. It convinces you that you know what other people are thinking. It convinces you that you're in control of your own thoughts. It really does. It tells you how to feel and how not to feel, where to go and where not to go. It makes you give you a false sense of happiness and a false sense of unhappiness. It gives you a false sense of future and a false sense of past. And it made all of your decisions for you, but it makes you think that you are making the decision. It is insane. It's an insane spirit. But I understand now. I really, really do. And the beauty is there's another spirit, a spirit of love, a spirit of truth. And the spirit, one thing I want to tell you before I go to the spirit of truth is that this evil spirit, because all human beings are possessed until we are born of another spirit, but this spirit of lie that lives in the imagination, and it make you think that it is you or it is God or both, and it makes you think that you're really making your own decision. I want you to know that it is a nature. It's an old nature that made a home in you, and it feels like your nature. and it's not. But you believe that it is, and no one can convince you that it's not. And you can intellectually hear me say this, and you'll repeat it thinking that you know it, and nothing changes about you. Isn't that amazing? And you need, when I say you, human beings, all human beings around, all of them, it don't matter what religion you belong to, and the fight that you have with yourself and others, your nature must change. You must have a renewed mind. There's another spirit, and that spirit is called the spirit of truth, the spirit of life, the spirit of good. And when your nature changes, then that spirit will truly guide you. It will think for you, it will do for you, it will lead you, and you can never fail, ever. But you must be born again of that nature. There's an evil spirit, and there's a good spirit. And we're not in control of anything. I don't care what you see happening in the world around you. And it's a mess today because most people are not familiar with the true spirit of good. A spirit where you have nothing to do with. It makes decisions for you, and they're always the right decision. It protects you from the evil of the world inside of others. It just leads your whole life. Just like the dark spirit lead it, so does the true spirit. But you can't have both. You only can have one. And intellectually, it won't work. So don't try to learn this. You want to know it. You want to understand it. And once you understand it, it's going to be amazing. But it's hard getting there because you're so identified with the evil spirit calling it you. But you can get on that straight and narrow road, and you can travel it and travel and travel, and you'll make it home. But you got to still, and along that road, you're going to run into all types of bumps in the road. You know how in some cities they put these bumps in neighborhoods? They keep you from driving through the neighborhood really fast. Well, along this straight and narrow, you're going to run into some bumps in the road. But just slow down and cross over the bump. Go over the bump. All right? But travel that road, and no matter what happens along the road, don't turn to the left. Don't turn to the right. Don't back up and go backwards. You stay straight. Go forward. In perfect love, no matter what.